Hi Dollar Divas, welcome to Behind the Vanity. I'm Jessica. So today is going to be a chatty get ready with me as well as a Q&A. I have never done a Q&A before on my channel. So a couple weeks ago I asked you all on my community page and on Instagram, just to ask me some questions and that I would do a Q&A. So here we are. And of course, I was so surprised that people really wanted to know really anything about me. And a majority of the questions, and to be quite honest, I actually kind of feared this because I really don't like to share too much detail about my personal life. It just because the forum just feels so public. But the majority of the questions were about my performing life, of course, my life outside of YouTube and kind of what I do for a living. And so that really took kind of center stage, so to speak. Anyways, so here we are. I am going to answer all the questions that you asked, and all while putting on makeup, and I am actually getting ready for work as we speak. So if that sounds good to you, you're definitely in the right place. First of all, if you are new to my channel, you're kind of stepping into a good video because I guess you'll learn a little bit about me. And so anyways, I do hope that you will subscribe and stick with me and become what I like to call one of my Dollar Divas. I do a lot of Dollar Tree oriented makeup and beauty and haul content, as well as other affordable videos and walkthroughs and all that kind of thing, as well as my Makeup and Celebrity Sunday series. I don't do it every single week, but I try to do it as often as I can. Anyways, if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe. And if you're returning, you've been probably waiting for this video for some time now. So here we are. So yeah, if you want to put on makeup and get to know me a little bit better and hear me answer your questions, definitely keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to start with my eyebrows, and right now I'm trying to use up this LA Colors, it's from the Dollar Tree, this LA Colors eyebrow pencil in dark brown. I already started using my other one, it's in medium. I love these. And I'm trying to use some stuff up, so there's a lot of that kind of in this video because there's just some things I need to use up. So the first question that I got is, what are your favorite makeup brands, both high-end and drugstore? And it's so funny because I do love makeup, but as a YouTuber, I feel like I don't buy as much as a lot of YouTubers do. I mean, I definitely buy more than the average person, way more than the average person. But so I would say probably my favorite drugstore brand, and honestly, there was actually a big chunk of time I was not buying makeup from the drugstore, really hardly at all. It was like either all high-end or Dollar Tree, nothing in between. But this year I have been kind of looking more at drugstore makeup and have purchased a few things. And so I would say that my favorite drugstore brands are NYX and probably Wet n Wild and Essence. I bought a couple items from Essence this year. It was my first time trying the brand. I know I'm so late on everything. That's also something you should know about me. But yeah, the couple items I do have from Essence I really like. I'm wanting to try more stuff, and I've loved Wet n Wild ever since I was in like high school, and it's just gotten like better and better. And of course NYX. I really like NYX. I think it's the brand claims to be like professional makeup, and I really do feel it's like the drugstore MAC in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I think NYX has so much stuff, almost to a point where it's overwhelming. I'm gonna clean up my brows with the L'Oreal Infallible Wear More Than Concealer. This is in Eggshell. I've also been using this as my regular concealer too. So yeah, I would say those are probably like my go-tos when I go to the drugstore. I feel like one brand I never look at the drugstore anymore is like Almay. Even Neutrogena, CoverGirl, Revlon, I rarely ever look there anymore. Now, I still have not tried ColourPop, and I know that's technically in like the drugstore price range. See, and that's a lot of things. That's something that's changed too over the years, is there's a lot of things in the drugstore range, like price range, that aren't even sold in the actual drugstore. But yeah, if I keep it to kind of what I do actually see at my drugstore, those would be the three, I would say. And if I had to pick an absolute favorite out of those, like if I could only pick one, probably wouldn't be Essence. It'd be tough between Wet n Wild and NYX. It really would be. But ultimately, I would probably choose NYX. And then high end, like again, like I said, I'm so not keen on some brands. I don't have any luxury makeup. Of course, I've heard amazing things about like Natasha Denona's eyeshadows, but I don't have any. I'm sure I would love them, but so I'm still a little bit old school in that I'm still a little bit stuck on Urban Decay, but I really like Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. There was a time Too Faced would have been on that list, but I think I like the idea of Too Faced better than I actually like Too Faced these days. Same thing with Benefit. I think I like the idea of Benefit more than I actually like Benefit. So yeah, I would definitely say Urban Decay. I am always kind of looking for their palettes and their eyeshadow singles and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I still am probably a little bit hung up on Urban Decay. So I am going to put on primer. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Primer Potion and this Hard Candy Sheer Envy Sensitive Skin Primer. So I'm going to put these on and be right back. So my primers are on and I do have a long day today. I'll explain more about that later. So I don't always wear primer, but sometimes if I know I'm going to have a long day, I will. Okay, so question number 2, and like I said, I have to divulge more about myself and always makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but I realize I really need to do it more, honestly. Because this channel, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not the best at any of this. It comes down to me doing it. So, the more I can be myself, of course, the better this channel is gonna be and and all that good stuff. So I need to let you in on a little bit more about my personal life, So question number 2. So this Dollar Diva was wanting to know more about my performing life, the area that I live in, my schedule, my workday, my job, etc. So we will get into that as I move into eyeshadow. I recently picked this up. First time I'd seen this was on my girl Tasha St. James's channel or Instagram or something like that. She had posted this. This is the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss. This is the first time I've purchased from the brand. But I had been wanting the Natasha Denona Glam palette had been catching my eye. It went from being like the most boring palette in the world to me to catching my eye, but I didn't want to spend the money on it necessarily. So this is a dupe for that palette. And you can see it's already kind of well loved. I've only had it a little while. So we're gonna be using this today. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Risk. I'm just gonna put that all over. So my life as a performer has changed since COVID. My primary method of performing, kind of what I set out to do years ago, was to be a singer. In that, I had to also become not necessarily a dancer, but a mover. But I have actually had jobs where I have been a dancer because they didn't want to hire me as a singer. And during that time, just to be able to work, I became a magician's assistant. So it's just like another skill I acquired. Nobody ever sets out to be a magician's assistant. You usually fall into being a magician's assistant. There's no little girl that's usually like, oh, that's what I'm gonna be. I mean, there might be some, but generally it's a singer, dancer, model, or just someone that ends up being a magician's assistant. Either they marry a magician, they're dating a magician, or they're looking for a job. So I was one of those people. I became a magician's assistant to kind of keep working because it was the job that was available. And I have really done that for the better part of the last 12 years. Like I said, I had 2 breaks in there where I was like a dancer or like a singer dancer and went back to doing it. And so it's been a consistent thing for the last like 7 or 8 years where that's what I've done. But with COVID, the magician that I work for and my cast, we lost our venue that we had been at, that the magician had been at for like 10 years. We lost that venue, so it left us looking for another place to do our show. So we kind of lost our venue and it changed our schedule. So we don't do the magic show as much. We're still doing it, but it's like a different, versus like being an evening show, it's like a matinee like 3 days a week. So it left me free to do some other things as well. So I also do a 50s and 60s show where I sing and dance. It's like an ensemble thing. It's all, it's 50s and 60s music and patriotic and like gospel and all that good stuff. And then I also have the amazing opportunity to be just a singer in a Motown show. I fell in love with Motown music back when I worked on a cruise ship. So the next color we're gonna go into is this shade here called Shade. Of course, the Natasha Denona palettes, they don't have names on their shades. They just say like inner corner, this is a highlight, this is an eyeliner or whatever. But these ones actually have names. So I would say that that's actually like my primary job because I do that like 6 nights a week. Whereas the other two shows, I do 3 days a week. So the Motown show, I do that more than the other 2 shows just because the schedule is a little bit heavier. And it's my first time in my entire performing career I get to just be a singer and wear gowns, and it's amazing. Like I was saying earlier, I fell in love with Motown music when I worked on a cruise ship, and we sang all kinds of stuff. And in the process, I learned quite a few songs from the Motown era, and just was like, where's this music been my whole life? I mean, I always knew it was around. I'd always heard the songs. You know, I just considered them oldies, you know what I mean? And didn't really know that like Motown was necessarily like a separate thing. So yeah, so there's a cast of 7 of us. Sometimes we have 4 guys, sometimes we have 5 guys. They do all the male stuff, and then there's 3 of us girls, and we do solo stuff, and of course some girl group stuff, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, so I do 3 different productions. So my schedule is, I've probably have been busier in the past, but when I was just working as a magician's assistant, I didn't have to worry about taking care of my voice, and our shows were like an hour and 20 minutes with like no intermission. So my 2-show day was pretty short. You know, I might get into work at 4 and then get home by like 9:30, kind of a thing. Now my schedule varies a lot. Sometimes I just have 1 show. Sometimes, I'll just have a 8 o'clock show. And then sometimes I have 3 shows. I'll have a 2, a 5, and an 8. Of course, that's a long day. I've got 2 days a week like that. And then I've got 2 2-show days a week. 2 of them are a 5 and an 8, which is really nice. Today is a 2 and an 8. So I have a big chunk of time in the middle where a lot of times I'll edit my videos on a Saturday. I'll just find somewhere comfortable and I'll edit my videos. I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Umbra. I think that's how you say it. It's dark brown. But of course singing, I sing in, I pretty much do typically, like if I do all the shows that we have scheduled, I do 12 shows a week. 9 of them are singing shows, and so that's why the schedule and they're also 2-hour shows, so it's just a little bit more taxing than the schedule has been in the past for me. It's a nice change from last year in which I did nothing and thought my career was dead. So it's a nice change. I signed up to do a lot this year because I needed it. I can't do it forever, plus YouTube. So, there's that. And that's kind of why I haven't been quite as consistent this year as I normally am. It just gets hard, But YouTube is a major priority. So there are going to be some changes made at some point here in my life. I'm going to have to do it, and it will also be for the good of my YouTube channel as well. This shimmer here has kind of been one of my favorites, but I used this one here yesterday. This one, it's called Dare. I think I'm going to use that again today. So yeah, I get paid per show, and I wear lots of costumes. I'm gonna try to share more pictures on my Instagram and things like that. That way you can see a little bit more kind of what things look like a little bit and all that good stuff. But yeah, performing is not something, even though it's fun, it's not something you do because it's easy, because it is not. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it, like, company health insurance, paid time off. You do not get paid time off. It's hard. You can't just take a day off, And of course, I've missed birthdays, weddings, funerals. I'm missing a funeral today as we speak. My sister-in-law passed away, and my husband is driving home to go to his sister's, service and everything, and I'm not there because I have a show today and I can't be out. So it's just how it works, sometimes. If I can be there for certain things, I will. If I can't, if it doesn't make sense, I'm not, and it's just kind of always been this way. So it is definitely, it can appear very easy to people from like the outside world that like, oh, your job is so easy, it's so fun, and it is fun. And I've done other jobs. I've waited tables and all that kind of stuff. I've done other things, so I know what goes into customer service and all that stuff. And but you don't get into performing because it's easy, because if you're not in the right frame of mind, it can wreak havoc on your soul. So you have to, takes a certain person to be able to do it. It takes a certain person to be able to get up in front of a crowd and, you know, kind of be judged. You know, not every audience is great. Not every performance is great. You know, I mean, I've done it sick. I've done it tired. I've done it barely with any voice. I've done it mentally not well. I've done it, you know, under every circumstance and even beyond your control, you know, so it's not an easy lifestyle, but it is fun if you enjoy it. I do work 6 days a week. I would love to have another full day off, but I don't. You know, one show day is an easy day. Like literally don't have to be in work till like 7 o'clock and I'm home just a couple hours later. But you know, you wait all day to go to work. So it's not the same as having like a full extra day of rest. You know what I mean? But you know, that's just some of the downsides, but there's so many positives. You know, of course I get to do what I love and I've made really good money. The magic show bought my house. You know, I got a home loan with my magic show job, which is crazy, you know what I mean? It just, something that feels like it should just be a hobby, you know what I mean, it has made me a living for the last little while, which is amazing. I'm putting glue on my eyelashes. I've just got some really well-loved Ioni lashes, and I'm just putting some AOA Studio glue on them. I also used for eyeliner, because I didn't even mention that, I used the LA Colors eye marker. So we will finish up the eyes, like underneath and all that kind of stuff, and move on to the face. I'm gonna let my eyelash glue dry for just a second while I put on some mascara just for under my lashes. This is all worn off. I know it's LA Colors Perfect Lash. I got this, and like I said, you can't really see it, but here it is. And I got this at Family Dollar some time ago. Either Family Dollar or Big Lots. I can't remember. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying to use some stuff up. I'm gonna use this AOA Studio Perfect BB Cream. This is in light. I've been kind of alternating between this and my Believe Beauty foundation that I got in a recent Dollar General walkthrough. I will have my walkthrough playlist linked down below, as well as my Dollar Tree playlist and my Get Ready With Me's, if you're interested in seeing more videos. I'm gonna put this on and then put my eyelashes on. I've been trying to be a little bit better about like letting my eyelash glue dry a little bit more, like just giving it a little bit more time before I try to put them on. So question number 3 is, what inspires you to keep doing YouTube? And I'm just gonna be completely honest with you all. There are 3 things that keep me doing this because it's hard. Again, you know, I love it, but it's hard sometimes. The first being my husband. He believes in my channel probably more than I do. Most definitely probably more than I do. So he definitely keeps me motivated and inspired to keep doing this. He is so sure that it's gonna just do well. You know what I mean? He's just so sure of it. And the second, of course, is you all. I mean, the fact that there are even questions that you even care to ask me, I mean, is case in point. Like, enough said, like the fact that you guys watch, the fact that I have Dollar Divas, the fact that you comment, like, interact with me at all, watch my videos at all, that absolutely inspires me to keep going, because if you didn't, what would be the point? You know what I mean? And then 3, and this is again where the honesty comes in, I can't perform forever. You know what I mean? I can't. I can't do the schedule forever. I don't want to work 6 days a week forever. I don't, you know, there's just things I would love to make YouTube my full-time job, honestly. And I am monetized now, and of course it doesn't yield hardly anything, but I've done it with performing and like the arts in one way, and I feel like why not again? And I'm gonna put these eyelashes on now. You know, and it's like, so why not? Why can't I do it again? And I just feel it really kind of suits who I am. You know, like I said, you can make YouTube videos as long as you have an internet connection. You know, I can do them from home. I can do them from anywhere, you know. I mean, I would love to, you know, my husband's older than me, and he's gonna, you know, at some point he's gonna retire, And I don't want to be tied to a job outside the home when that happens. I want us to be able to, you know, we've sacrificed, even though we love our jobs. He's a performer too. You know, we end up very tied to this area and to what we do. And then the only time we get to really go anywhere, do anything is hands down, tell me if I'm wrong, the crappiest month of the year, January, is the only time we can really do anything or go anywhere, you know? And I mean, we even take cruises and the weather is questionable. I mean, you know, eventually, and not today, maybe not even next year or the year after that, but I'm looking toward the future and what can I do to live the life that I want, because really in some ways it's not in our control. In a lot of ways it really is. We can complain that our lives aren't exactly what we want them to be and not do anything about it, or we can just try to do something about it. So YouTube is my way of just really trying to create a life that I want. And I've already done that with performing, but just like anything, things run their course. You know what I mean? And if they haven't yet, they will. And so I'm just looking toward the future a little bit. Also while living in the now. So let's not, you know, get crazy or anything, but okay, my lashes are on. I'm gonna add some concealer. I'm just gonna use the same concealer I used to clean up my brows. And a little of this goes a long way. It's like a full coverage concealer. You know, another reason too is because, you know, I've worked at a lot of establishments. You know, they're owned by people, they're owned by companies, they're owned by, you know, either a single person or they're owned by a family or whatnot. And theaters, you know, the theater community isn't necessarily thriving anymore. And I'm just very lucky. I've been able to very consistently stay working over the last, you know, 12 or 13 years. You know, I think the future is, of course, the internet. You know what I mean? It ain't live theater, that's for sure, you know. So you just try to change and grow, you know, and so this has just been a really good growing experience for me, you know. So question number 4 is, how did I fall in love with makeup and when did I start collecting it? Again, like I said, my collection is sad in comparison to other YouTubers. I am gonna contour just a little bit. I'm gonna use my double-ended contour brush. This is just the NARS contour kit. This is in Paloma. So I kind of feel like I started wearing makeup in the 8th grade. And I think where I first acquired my first little tiny bit of makeup, me and my dad and my brother ended up at this thing one time. I don't even know what you would call it. I don't know if it was like might have been like a trade show or like some kind of, I don't even know, but they ended up giving, there was like a little counter and they were given like little, it was Revlon. They were giving little samples of lipstick away and little samples of makeup. And then, you know, of course it started with going to the drugstore back when Wet n Wild was really, really cheap. Like you could get things for $1. You really can't anymore. But so it was Wet n Wild and it was like CoverGirl, like the eyeshadow singles. It was like the cream to powder makeup, you know, the compact that had like the sponge. I actually have a video of how I did my makeup in high school that I will have linked down below. It's very embarrassing. It's great. You'll love it. Okay, I'm gonna put on this bronzer again, something I'm trying to use up. This is from an Ipsy. It's the YC Collection matte bronzer in Caramello. And yeah, and then I really think I bought my first high-end item in 2010, and that was, I believe, NARS Orgasm Blush. And I think that was when I got the original Naked palette. I got like a Too Faced palette and Benefit High Beam and all that kind of stuff. That kind of started my high-end makeup experience. And so yeah, like I said, I don't collect as much as other people, but like I said, definitely more than the average person. Then I'm gonna put on this LA Colors blush. This is in Groovy. Question number 5 is, would I ever consider singing in a video? You know, I mean, I would love to, honestly, but you know, of course, this is not a singing channel. It is a makeup channel. And I will always try to, you know, always keep it beauty oriented. But I also don't really know about like copyright laws and all that stuff, and I would never want to hurt my channel with like copyright strikes and all that good stuff. I think eventually I might try to post some stuff on my Instagram, maybe. Like I said, I'm a little hesitant just because I don't know all of the rules and the laws and copyright stuff and all that kind of thing. So I just always am very careful about anything I put up on my channel that might get me into trouble in some way. So, I mean, I just need to look more into it. you know, and see kind of what all is involved in it. Speaking of a drugstore product that I have recently purchased, this is a CoverGirl True Blend So Flush High Pigment Blush. This is in Hot Frenzy. I just thought it was such a unique shade, and I'm gonna take a very light hand to this, as I always do. I will never use this up, ever. And then this is almost gone. Like, I've made short work of this. It's the Essence Brighten Up Powder, another thing that I've tried this year, and I need to buy more. Last time I went to the store, they were out. I've just got a very little bit left. In fact, it might get used up today. I can't even really use a sponge anymore. I used to apply it with like a dry sponge to like bake, but can't much do that anymore, so I'm gonna use this brush. Yeah, this will definitely be used up today. I would literally use this to like contour as well too. Love this stuff. So question number 6 is, do I have kids? How long have I been doing my day job? And am I, in fact, a magician's assistant? Yes, I am, in fact, a magician's assistant. And a little bit more about that. I have been consecutively doing magic for 8 years. I think this is my 8th season, working for the same magician. I also worked for him back in 2009. So it's actually my 9th year working for this particular magician. And then I did magic 1 extra year on top of that. So this is actually my 10th year doing magic. 8 of those are consecutive, 9 of them are with the same magician. So, but it spans over a period of about 12 years. So yes, I am a magician's assistant. So the next thing I'm gonna do is, I've been using this to add like a little bit of an extra glow, because I don't really like it as just a highlighter, but it's the Urban Decay Naked Illuminated in Aura. Got this at TJ Maxx, I think, last year. And so it just comes with a brush, and I'm just gonna use that. Like I said, I've just been kind of using it to add like a little bit of like a glow to my skin. So to answer the question, do I have any kids? The answer is no. So then, then it leads people to ask, well, do you ever want kids? And the answer to that question is also no. And to tell you a little bit more about that, I have known, I have not wanted, I'm just gonna tell you how old I am. I'm gonna be 37 next month. And I have known since I was a child. If not a child, definitely a teenager, but I wanna say a child. I've known since I was a child that I did not want kids. Went through all my teenage years knowing I didn't want kids. Of course, you change your mind. Never changed my mind. Got married. I've been married twice. So through all any boyfriends I had, my first marriage, never wanted kids. Second marriage, I've never, ever wanted kids. I have no regrets. Like I said, I'm almost 40 years old, and because a lot of people would say, you're gonna regret it. And do I regret it? Absolutely not. So that is just quite brutally honest where I'm at, where I've always been. So for me personally, it has been the absolute right decision. I have zero desire to have kids. Never wanted them, never will. So there we go. I'm gonna add, again, trying to use this up. It's my LA Colors highlighter in Shine Bright. And I'm gonna really add this as like a highlighter. I think, there's a lot of people that are afraid. And, when I was younger, I was never afraid to say I didn't want kids. And, all through my 20s, all through that, I just was never afraid to just say it and let people, think what they want or have their own opinion or whatever. It's never bothered me. Now, my husband, I mentioned he's older than me. He's got 2 kids. They're grown. And thank God they're happy, healthy, functioning adults, and we get along great. So he didn't want any more kids, definitely didn't want any more kids, but that did not influence my decision. I went into the relationship not wanting any kids. So it works, it's great. It works out perfect. I'm gonna liner my eyes, and I can't find my L'Oreal Silkaseam. So I'm just gonna, again, try to use this up. It's the L'Oreal Voluminous Smoldering Eyeliner. It's almost gone. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of my waterline. I actually haven't been wearing any makeup under my eyes for like the last week, and I've really enjoyed it, but I think I'm gonna change it today. So I'm gonna go under my eye with the shade Fog. I just kind of wanna see what that does. I just kind of feel like that might be kind of soft and pretty. Oh yeah, I like it. So the last set of questions is a Dollar Diva kind of want to know about my childhood, where I'm from. Again, the children, do I have children or fur babies? And would I ever consider going cruelty-free and make videos on it? So yeah, so my childhood, I grew up just outside of Boston, but honestly, that's not home to me. But we used to camp in New Hampshire every summer. I went to the same campground. It was like a family campground. And so really New Hampshire is home to me in my heart and in my soul. And if I ever went back to New England to live, I would go to New Hampshire. But yeah, you know, I had a decent childhood. Nothing crazy special, nothing crazy good, nothing crazy bad. I like being an adult more than being a kid. But yeah, I am from just outside of Boston. And like by outside, I don't mean like the suburbs. It's the greater Boston kind of metropolitan area. I even grew up in like a triple-decker house. They had all these houses that are kind of close together, and mine was like a triple-decker. We lived like on the second floor most of my childhood. And we weren't poor, but we weren't like rich. We were middle class. But I remember thinking of the people that lived in the suburbs that they were rich. Like if you lived in a single family home, you were rich. Because we lived in this triple decker, and I don't know, it just seemed like such a bummer when we were kids. So now I'm gonna finish with the lips, and I'm gonna use this from the Dollar Tree. It's the Maybelline Lasting Drama Matte. It's actually a eyeliner, but it's in rusty terracotta, so I use it as a lip liner. So of course, children, I don't have children, but I do have fur babies. I have 2 cats. I am a cat lover. You'll sometimes see them in the back. And I'll put up pictures of the 2 cats. The first one is my senior cat. She's 12. She's a brindle cat, and that's Sophia. And she does not like to sit on your lap, but she will let you pet her, hug her. She's very tolerant of all that kind of stuff. And she does not like cat treats. Only cat I've ever had that has not liked cat treats. And then this is Tater. He is 6, and he is definitely kind of more my husband's cat. He doesn't like my energy all that much. He will sit on my lap at night if I have the right blanket, but he likes my husband better. He really, really likes my husband. So for lip gloss, I'm gonna put on this LA Colors High Shine Shea Butter lip gloss. This is in Snuggle. I got this at Five Below. And cruelty-free, you know, I know there's a lot of people that do the cruelty-free thing. I guess I've just been so lazy with it. Of course, I do always appreciate when I get something and it's cruelty-free. I appreciate the heck out of it. I don't know why all brands just don't do that, to be honest. Perhaps someday, and I know things, you know, you have to kind of do things in baby steps. You can't ever make a big change like that all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So perhaps someday, you know, like I'm not like anti-cruelty-free. I just haven't personally made the steps to be cruelty-free. You know what I mean? But like I said, I do appreciate when something is cruelty-free. Me doing some cruelty-free videos in the future would definitely not be out of the question. So I hope you enjoyed this Get Ready With Me and Q&A, my first ever. I hope I can do another one at some point in the future. As my channel grows, hopefully you will all have more questions for me. And thank you so much for being interested. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I hope I was able to answer some of these questions enough for everybody. Like I said, I'm not always comfortable sharing stuff about myself, but I really wanted to try for this video. And that's kind of why it took me a little while to kind of get to it. So I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, show me you did by hitting that like button. I will have some different playlists and videos down below in the description box if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.